Tonight's performer is Evasco, a queer Pinay immigrant writer, comedian, and theater artist best known of her autobiographical one-woman show, Mommy Queerest, co-written with John Caldon. Her current projects include developing and directing 3 full-length solo shows, Prieto by Yosimar Reyes, Locus in Control by Jason Bayani, and Irene's To Rest in Peace, Irene. Cat Wars has been featured on Vice, The Advocate, Out Magazine, and NBC News Asian America. She proudly works at the Center for Cultural Power, formerly CultureStrike, as the Senior Program Director.
Hey folks, my name is Kat Evasco, and I am a playwright, a theater maker, and a proud member of Bravo's Artist in Residence program. I am honored to be a part of tonight's program and to contribute a new piece that I just wrote, so bear with me as I read through it. I wake up this morning and as usual, I pick up my phone and begin to scroll through my Instagram feed. I see this selfie of Luis Alfaro. He has a black background, black button down, black thick framed eyeglasses. His face glows at the center of the image, bright from his light setup and from his spirit. I read a lot of Luis's posts because there's always some kind of gem he's dropping in, and sometimes I feel like it's meant for me. And this morning he passed me a gem that I want to share with you, so I'm going to perform Luis's Instagram post, and for the record, I am not at all trying to impersonate Luis. Death of a Traveling Virtual Salesman by Luis Alfaro. One of my pandemic activities has been to take virtual flights and visit classrooms around the country. In the beginning, it seemed a way to barter with fellow artists to guest in each other's classes. Then as the gigs dried up, a way to make a little money. Finally, I realized that it kept my isolated loneliness at bay. As the months went on, classrooms got bigger, more frequent, questions more intense, students more emotional. And the electronic box kid with blue hair in Denver asks, "Why art anymore?" I thought about the cataclysmic events, the way time can move like molasses and shooting star in the same breath. The number of people who died this past year, the folks with long-haul illness, the students who stopped trying, the students who were trying too hard, the way we sit behind partition, distance, and only visible from above our masks. The student zooming in from a hospital room. I thought about it all while this blue-haired student waited for answer, belief, assurance. Click. Art stopped being a business and became the spiritual practice. I put my faith in words that could heal, in stories that could keep us connected, the sharing of intimacy hundreds, thousands of miles away with strangers in need of affirmation and investment. I let it go. I let go. Worry went away. Sadness sat on top of my chest longer than I expected. I am letting it pass through me. I never got around to getting a TV or went back to Netflix. I sat in the dark a lot. I helped my neighbors. I learned to cook. I said goodbye a lot, but hello to me, holding my intimates close. Today, I went to Occidental College, and tomorrow I will hop another flight. In the morning, I will pick up my Willie Loman suitcase and go to my own class at USC. Give a lenient midterm, something fun, interactive, no stress. Then I will run to make a flight to Illinois and meet the playwrights at Northwestern. I'll make it back just in time to be in the room with my own playwriting students. I will give a prompt and listen to their keyboards, heartbeats, breath. Someone will ask a question about craft or technique, and I will point them towards desire and passion, and then introduce the idea of the spiritual in writing. Who are your people? What is the story you must tell? Why are you afraid of your first impulse? I look beyond my desk to the other me, the one waiting in the corner, the Luis I was left a year ago. He's still wondering if he can come back. I smile and wave at him, loving him more now than I used to. I will look at students in the screen, but I will be talking to myself. All right then. Should we do some writing? Okay, so Luis was definitely talking to me and took me back to our Lambda Playwriting Fellowship in 2018, okay? But the truth is I needed to read this. Probably as much as Luis needed to write it. I've not been able to write for months, not because I don't want to. The writer in me deeply yearns for it. But I know how deep a spiritual practice writing is for me, and I knew I didn't have capacity to hold that for myself because I've been hurting and needed more time, and I learned that that's okay too. I head to my new home office / storage filled with moving boxes and random furniture. I sit on a chair in front of a folding TV dinner that faces the window. I take a deep breath. I pick up my journal and pen and begin the spiritual journey. I begin writing about the story I need to tell the most, about how a global pandemic entered my home uninvited, invaded my body and 16 family members in a span of 10 days. I open strong, acknowledging the trauma, and then begin to retrace the steps of the journey. I replay my recovery. I replay my grandmother's declining health. My Lola, age 85, with pre-existing conditions from high blood pressure to diabetes, was not fighting for her life. She was letting go. She didn't die from COVID-related symptoms, but COVID caused her dementia to progress so rapidly that within a week, she couldn't walk. A week later, she couldn't speak, and then she stopped eating. We were lucky. Unlike many people who died in isolation, she died peacefully at home, and because my family now has herd immunity, we were all surrounding her with our love when she transitioned. 3.5 pages in my journal, and I'm stopped dead on my tracks. My heart cracks open, and all the tears I've been holding for the last month begins to pour out, and I can't stop. And in between breaths, I say out loud, I miss you, Lola. I miss you so much, like a mantra that would guide her spirit back to me. I realize that is the part of the story I am not ready to tell. The part where I haven't reconciled losing one of the most important people in my life. I open my journal back up, trying to find a way to close this entry. I think about the last words my Lola said to me. I love you. She hadn't eaten for a week, and her body was failing, and you could hear it in the softness and the tremor in her voice, but to me, it was the loudest, most powerful I love you I've ever received. Today, I took a big step towards my healing. I'm still grieving. I'm still confused about everything. I still don't know what's next. What I do know is writing this morning summoned my spirit back to my body so that I can grieve, make sense of my story, and welcome new perspectives. I'm writing again because this is the story that needs to be told, especially as the pandemic still has a strong grip on humanity. And through my writing, I brought my Lola into the room to sit with me, to hear her say, I love you. Thank you. This piece is dedicated to Toni Morrison, who reminds us that there is no time for despair, no place for self-pity, no need for silence, no room for fear. We speak, we write, we do language. That is how civilizations heal. Thank you so much for joining Canta Brava in celebration for Women's History Month. I want to thank Brava for inviting me to be a part of this. Thank you so much. Folks, please visit their website and to see upcoming events and to make sure to make a donation if you got it like that, because this is an amazing organization. So thank you so much. And I enjoyed doing this piece for y'all.